So it's been 4 years since Pop Smoke passed, and his name has recently been popping up in the headlines again, not because he has a new posthumous album coming out or nothing like that. Instead, it's because one of the people that was involved in this situation that led to Pop Smoke's demise was actually released from prison not that long ago. So this guy, Blockstar, he was a minor when the whole thing went down, and he was released from prison just about a month ago on June 23rd for his 21st birthday. And this alone made headlines because a lot of people were scratching their head thinking, wow, 4 years is not that long of a sentence for the crime that was committed. However, details of why he was released or how he got released have pretty much been scarce, and a very limited amount of information has been released to the public. But a lot of people are saying it's because he was a minor when this whole thing went down, so they gave him a lenient sentence. Either way, he was released, and that by itself was enough to cause headlines because people were basically like, there's no way that y'all reformed this kid in as little as 4 years for that. And it looked like they might be spot on with that assumption, because as soon as he got released, the first thing he did was went over to Instagram and started posting pictures up of himself throwing up gang signs, posting with the homies, getting back to the regular shenanigans out here in the streets, like cutting his ankle monitor off. Yeah, Brody is hella reformed. He definitely earned his freedom. Anyway, so he gets out and he's been on this clout chase campaign trying to run his numbers up off the back of the crime that he committed. And I mean, to his credit, he's been pretty successful in doing that. So this has led to him reaching out to people, trying to get interviews, trying to get videos made about himself. And one of the places that he reached out to was none other than No Jumper, the uncoolest podcast in the world. And Adam would eventually grant this request and allow him on the No Jumper platform. And almost instantly, Adam22 started to receive backlash for this. Now, look, I'm no Adam22 fan or anything like that, but I've seen a lot of people saying that he shouldn't have interviewed this guy due to the nature of his crime. And I hear the argument for that, but I'm going to be one of those people that disagree. These are interviews that need to be had, and it's not like No Jumper is inventing a new niche here. People like 60 Minutes have been doing this for years. So it's not a new concept that Adam22 just pulled out of thin air. However, that didn't stop people from pretty much hating on him for allowing this interview to take place. And one of those people was none other than Whack100, No Jumper's biggest employee.
This, he called out a ball out his day and sent me the link to the clip. And I told him, I said, bro, I refuse to do the interview. They gonna get that young man killed. Playing like that. I said, nah, bro. I said, bro, called me 2 weeks ago. I ain't touching that. That happened about maybe 4 or 5 days a week ago. I turned it down. Remember, they was trying to get me to go do it without him to Pop Smoke. They gonna get that little killed. Cause they know, Adam gonna bait him. You think Adam gonna get some backlash? Adam, listen to me. I need y'all to hear this. Adam is just white. Adam is a...
It's like Vlad, because
Vlad wouldn't touch that. Vlad turned it down.
Pretty much what Whack is saying right there is that he declined the interview with this Blockstar guy because he thought that interview could lead to more violence. He specifically said that he thought Blockstar going on No Jumper could result in Blockstar losing his life. And the reason for Whack100 saying that is the case is because he believed Adam22 was gonna try to bait him into giving a response or saying something reckless while he was on the show. However, Adam didn't really try to bait this guy into saying anything too crazy. He just asked some really general questions. But the interview was interesting to say the least, because if Blockstar wanted to go on there and look remorseful or come off like he was sorry for what he had done, he did a piss poor job of it. In fact, after watching it, I think his intention was to go on there and not look remorseful. You know how these street dudes are. They gotta be the toughest in the game. Nothing phases them, nothing bothers them. And that's the persona that this guy put on when he got the opportunity to get on No Jumper.
You're in a position where you want to express that you're sorry about it, but then as soon as you kind of show a little bit of weakness, people are going to use that against you.
Let me clear that. I'm not sorry about nothing. You know, it should never happen, but I ain't sorry. Feel me? Like, if I could go back, I'll go back, but I ain't sorry. Like, die every day. Like, he was rapping about it, all type of shit. So I ain't sorry about it, but.
Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not sorry about it. And if I could go back, I would go back and change it. Are two really contradictory statements. It seemed to me like Blockstar might be a bit conflicted. Like, internally, he probably does feel bad, but on the outside, he gotta be, you know, the Incredible Hulk out here and be tough about it. So he don't want to say that. However, I don't think that discounts the things he's done and who he is, because if he says he's about that life, I believe him. Yeah, no, he been convicted of this. I believe him. I just think he got some internal conflict going on. But also looking at his behavior, like we talked about earlier, it doesn't seem that bro is planning on changing in any type of way. Like, I was being sarcastic when I said he's clearly been reformed, because the optics of it look like he ain't learned a single lesson. And if he ain't learned nothing, then he's bound to make the same mistakes again. And another person who basically agrees with that sentiment is Tony Yayo. Tony Yayo went on a DJ Vlad interview and basically said he thinks because this guy got such a lenient sentence and only had to do 4 years that he was gonna come home, get praised, and then probably do it again. Now, Adam22 made it a point to ask Blockstar about this, and when asked, Blockstar acted like he didn't know who Tony Yayo was, which he might not. You know, Tony Yayo ain't really been popping like that for a long time. But he also went on to say that Tony Yayo may not be wrong, that, you know, he's not gonna say it's off the table that it might happen again.
How do you feel about Tony Yayo saying that he's certain that you'll kill again?
I don't know what that is.
He was like 50 Cent's right-hand man.
50 Cent right-hand man?
Yeah. He raps and now he does a podcast.
Oh. I mean, that's just an assumption. You don't know me. Like, I'm not saying that I won't never do it again, but I'm not sitting intentionally going around killing people.
Now, during this interview, they did get into all the details about what happened the night Pop Smoke was killed, and that became a huge part of the backlash that went to Adam for doing this interview, because people were mad that he brought this guy up there to give the details of what happened. You know, Pop Smoke had a lot of fans. He had a lot of crew members that were offended by the fact that Adam just brought this dude up there and kind of gave him a platform. They saying that all you got to do to get on No Jumper is be a gang member. And like I said, I'm not the biggest Adam22 fan, but I gotta disagree with the notion that he shouldn't have interviewed this guy, because like I said, these interviews are interviews that need to be had. When you're listening to a story and you're getting a story, ain't it important to get all sides of the story? Is it distasteful? Yeah, probably. But at the end of the day, what it is journalism. And I know putting Adam22 in that bracket of being a journalist is pretty crazy, but in this specific instance, that's exactly what he's doing, because nobody else had this interview, just him. However, that doesn't stop the backlash, and it didn't stop it in this instance either, and people did get mad about it, including people that were close to Pop Smoke. And one of those guys was this guy Raw Swish, who is also a rapper coming out of New York. Him and Pop Smoke actually been on a couple songs together, and they got the same kind of flow and all that. And Raw Swish decided that he was gonna speak on this, and he posted on Instagram this right here. I can't read it out loud, but he added Adam22 and added No Jumper, so it was very clear who he was speaking to. And I can't lie, taking this interview, you know, while I think these interviews are needed, it could be very dangerous, because you got to think of Adam22's image. He's already associated with just bringing gang members up there and letting them talk and kind of starting beefs and letting it brew and monetizing the entire process. So when certain people from certain sets see him doing this type of stuff and they feel disrespected, it could be a real problem for him. Not only did we hear Wack 100 kind of speak on this at the beginning of this video, but another person who tried to warn Adam not to take this interview was DJ Akademiks. Now, Akademiks spoke on this, and not only did he say that he tried to tell Adam22 not to take this interview, he also revealed that Adam22 paid $7,500 to make the interview happen.
Adam22 of No Jumper. He did an interview with him. And again, you know, I said earlier on the stream, which I still stand by, you know, I do think this sets a dangerous precedence that puts me in a hot spot too, because, you know, put it like this, like, in chat, I very well know this. If I start offering interviews for everybody who kicks in somebody's door and people feel like Akademiks interview could get them from A to B, there's going to be more people that kick in doors. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you start interviewing killers of rappers and you're a rap outlet, you almost give the green light to people. Yo, like, people are ready. They'll kill a rapper to get some stripes in their hood or some whatever. People, if they think, oh, I could have a career after this because I smoked a rapper who claiming he tough, you might encourage. I'm not saying it's a direct correlation, but because we are rap media, I do think we have some type of duty to try to insulate the people who are rappers. This is some kid who was just going around kicking down doors, trying to rob people. Here's more additional reasons why I wouldn't do it. And again, you know, Adam did do it, but that's him making his own decision. And also, I am wondering how New York is going to take it. I know what Pop Smoke meant to a lot of people, that I wouldn't be interested in interviewing this killer. Honestly. Right? Whatever Adam paid him, you know, it is what it is. You can judge Adam if you want. Again, not the move I would have made, but, you know, I did look at it from this angle. On a business level, I don't even know if it's a smart move for Adam. I don't think there's a bunch of New York rappers that's going to want to come up to your platform after you just interviewed the killer of their beloved figure.
Now, if that's true and he paid this dude $7,500, that takes away from the whole journalistic aspect I was talking about just a second ago, because a real journalist wouldn't pay for the narrative. You either get the interview or you don't. Now, Adam22's defense to this situation is basically that this guy was trying to extort him. They were making posts about him when he first got out of prison. They were posting his picture, and apparently this dude was telling them, listen, if y'all post me again and I don't collect a check off of it, I'm gonna hire an attorney and I'm gonna sue you. So Adam basically is trying to say that the reason he paid him is for that, but the interview basically came naturally. He was more so paying him so he didn't have to worry about the legal problems or implications, because this dude was, you know, basically on camera threatening to sue No Jumper.
Cause I'm gonna let you shine right now. You got all these people follow me. All these people doing all this extra or the dead homies. Where's my bag? Dead homie, stop posting me and not give me no money on AC. You post me again and I don't get no money. That's on my mama. I'm gonna take everything you owe. Or the dead homies.
And apparently that's not the only tactic this guy used to try to get on No Jumper, because apparently when he was negotiating with Adam22, he told Adam that Akademiks had offered him some money to do the interview. So Adam tried to confirm with Akademiks if Ak was trying to get this interview, and Ak was like, absolutely not.
Those reasons, I'm like, yeah, I really want to hear from this guy. Or really, like, you know, I think he tried to leverage the fact that we had posted that he got out of jail. He tried to leverage it against Adam. He's like, yo, Adam, you know, Ak want to interview with us, and he's offering some money just to try to get more money. And Adam hit me, was like, Ak, wait, are you bidding on getting this guy's interview? And I'm like, yo, Adam, nigga, I wouldn't pay this mother a coin.
Now, Akademiks didn't stop there. He would continue on and further criticize Adam22 for doing this interview with Blockstar, and said that because we're in hip hop media, we have a different kind of accountability when it comes to these type of interviews. It's not like, you know, Channel 7 going and doing this interview. And so he offers criticism that Adam22, beyond just paying money to do it.
Here in the media, we got to take a little bit of accountability. Especially, let me tell you this, there's a lot of things that I did on the way coming up, you know, even certain, maybe even extremes I went, even with the war in Chirac. Like, I wasn't Akademiks now. I wasn't the guy in the position where you're on a handful of people who could shift any rap narrative. You're one of the biggest outlets. Now that I am, there's things it's about, okay, I could do this and just do it for the bag, and then it could be like, but you're already getting the bag. And you already are in the position to help control and mold how media affects this culture. Certain things you should be above, right? And again, Adam's my peer, so I ain't really talked down on him. But, I wonder if he knows the repercussions of what he's doing, right? When you interview Pop Smoke's killer, you basically tell and signal to the entire whole clout chasing generation, if you murder someone, especially someone with a name, you have a platform. You murder, you rob, you do anything violent to, you have a platform and a safe haven to possibly get another type of clout or career. I think that's a dangerous precedent, very dangerous precedent. You get what I'm saying? Especially given the fact that what we do in media is predicated off covering these rappers' lives. You know what I mean? It's like, you kind of have to draw that line, right? It becomes slightly even more egregious when you realize, I think that got paid for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, the nigga kills somebody in hip hop, a beloved figure, then gets paid to tell the story on a hip hop platform. Like, it basically telling any random bum ass, go do anything to a rapper and you will get a payday. Just bet you don't go to jail for too long and you'll get a payday, guaranteed. Dangerous precedence. That's what I believe.
And I do have to kind of agree with Akademiks. There being a hip hop media outlet and providing that platform to these guys is much different than a regular news station coming and providing that platform to these guys. And it does set a precedent. On top of that, you've also set a new precedent basically that says, if you've done this to a rapper in the past, hey, my platform is where you can come to tell your story and launch a career off of it. And I do think Adam22 knew that this would cause waves. I think he knew that people would be outraged about this, and I think that he just didn't care. However, Adam did take the time to respond to this himself in a pretty lengthy statement where he basically takes the stance of he's just doing what Vlad TV of all people does, and that he don't really understand why people are mad at him. He's just journalism-y.
Okay, so I wanted to respond to some of the feedback about me interviewing Blockstar, Pop Smoke's killer. I didn't do that interview because I don't care. That's what a lot of people seem to think, is that Adam just doesn't give a f. That's not the case at all. I did that interview because I thought that it was an important historical record of somebody who was involved in one of the most tragic, insane stories in rap history. I knew Pop Smoke. I was texting him for probably a year. We spoke on camera for a couple minutes for Rolling Loud in 2019, like a few months before he passed. And I had a huge amount of respect for him. I'm not ignorant to what a gigantic impact he had on New York City. And I have nothing but respect for him and definitely did not want to, enrage his friends or family. I actually wanted to do a piece of content that I thought they would be able to benefit from by having this conversation so that people could really understand what goes through the mind of somebody who's capable of doing something like that. I think if you watch the interview, it's pretty obvious that I wasn't glamorizing it and that I was trying to have, the tough conversation with him that I thought this situation warranted. I also think that a lot of people seem to think that I'm the first person who's ever interviewed a killer, which is completely not true. All kinds of people come to mind, but let's just go with the obvious example, Terrence Gangster Williams, who I had on, and everybody else in the podcasting world has had on. He says that he's killed over 40 people. And I haven't seen even one single person say that I shouldn't be interviewing him. And I think the reason why is pretty obvious. Pop Smoke, famous rapper, beloved. Who did Gangster Williams kill? 40 /gang members that you and I don't know. So it's kind of hard to work up that empathy. But when you really look at it, O.J. Simpson did all these interviews. I remember when Vlad took a lot of heat because he interviewed Keefe D, who was, it's an extremely analogous situation because Keefe D obviously was involved in one of the most famous murders of a beloved rapper of all time. And I thought that it was pretty impressive that Vlad stood on his principles and did that interview, because it was an important story to be told. Just like No Plug, after he killed Bankroll Fresh, he went and did an interview with Vlad, and I thought that that was incredibly important. I thought it was very brave of Vlad that he actually went through with it, because that was an important interview in terms of us understanding that it wasn't like he just maliciously went and killed this dude. It was a shootout between two people who didn't get along. One person died. The person who died was the famous rapper, and so everybody like got on Vlad's case because he interviewed somebody that took somebody that they liked out of this world. But the truth is that that interview corrected the record for a lot of people and let them know how that situation really went down. I also think that that Pop Smoke or the Blockstar interview about Pop Smoke was like important for that reason too. 50 Cent made a whole fucking documentary where he like basically floated and lended credibility to the idea that Pop Smoke's friend Mike might have been involved in getting him knocked off. I think that that interview was like extremely important, just answering questions that Pop Smoke fans had. And I think that those same people, like, they watch that interview and they feel mad and they don't really know what to do with that anger. But the truth is that that piece of content, if you're a Pop Smoke fan, is like way more informative than anything else that has came out since he died. So to me, it was important to and I also I knew at that time that he was gonna go do the interview with somebody else if I didn't do it. So I felt like I was uniquely capable of having a fair conversation with somebody who may have done something horrible, but ultimately at the end of the day is a human being who came out of a up environment. And I think that that interview tells that story without glamorizing killing at all. I hope that nobody came away with that conclusion, because that to me is pretty insane. Anyway, if you were offended by any of the clips you see, obviously probably 1,000 times as many people saw the clips as saw the full interview. I encourage you to go see it, not just because I want to get my numbers up, but because I think it's an important thing to do to understand what exactly we did when we did that interview. And also, I care about one thing more than anything else, and that's feeding the streets, giving the streets what they want. What are the streets exactly? I mean, it's kind of a general term. I'm talking about the people in the hoods. I'm talking about the gang members. I'm talking about the YouTube commenters. There's a lot of overlap. So what they want to see is really what I'm trying to bring to the table. So, I see a lot of people who are kind of from outside the niche that I occupy, who seem very upset about this, but I know that on my side of things, everybody that I know was incredibly excited to see that interview. It was one of the most anticipated interviews of the year, because people find it interesting. It's newsworthy, regardless of if you even were invested in Pop Smoke's story. Anyway, that's why I did it. I think I did a great job. I can't take anything away from myself. Me and Remo, we killed it. And yeah, I encourage everybody to go check it. And finally, I just want to mention this one more time. It's a lot of pick and sides. There's a lot of oh, I like this guy, so therefore this guy is bad. I'm just trying to be ideologically consistent. I got Tax Stone in my DMs telling me that I'm up for interviewing this kid because he killed somebody. Tax, you killed somebody. And granted, you haven't done a whole lot of interviews since. I mean, you did do No Jumper. Granted, this was back in 2016, but you did do No Jumper a week after that. And I'm just saying, it ain't like anybody's lining up to kick Tax out of their Twitter spaces or anything, right? And yeah, Tax had one of the most influential podcasts while he was around. But at the same time, this kid Blockstar is from one of the most notorious, famous hoods in LA. So can't nobody tell me that ain't relevant. I just wanted to throw that in there.
So there you go. There you have it. That's the story. That's everybody's responses. Y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about it in the comments down below. Anyways, that's basically it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, tap the notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. As always, it's been fun rocking with y'all, man. I'm out.